3 days before the zombie outbreak, I went back to my hometown to stock up on supplies. I immediately reinforced the house to be unbreakable because I knew there were less than 3 days left. There were 3 days left before the zombie outbreak. Just then, the company was laying off staff. I said goodbye to the 996 work schedule. I got compensation and prepared to have a good time. Just then, my phone rang. I got a call from my brother. I'm going to the coastal areas to perform a mission. Something is wrong. You go home immediately and stay with your parents. They're already purchasing supplies. When you go back, you should make up for the deficiencies. Prepare for all aspects, which is enough for you to use for a year. Keep an eye on them. They must not open for business until I come back. My brother used to be a soldier and was a special forces soldier. After retiring, he worked in our local security bureau. From time to time, he was sent to perform some special and confidential tasks. The epidemic was known earlier than we knew, but they just reminded us to wear masks. People who say the situation is not right at once. It was the first time to stock up on supplies. So I didn't dare to take it lightly. I packed my things and hurried home after hanging up. When I got home, I took my mom. I went directly to the local wholesale market to buy 50 packs of various brands of snail rice noodles, 10 packs of sour and spicy noodles, 10 boxes of potato chips of various flavors, 50 packs of beef jerky, and 10 bags of my favorite milk candy and chocolate, and a lot of various snack gift packs. I filled every corner. When I got home, a pickup truck parked in front of my house and unloading boxes one by one. The truck was full of your favorite snacks. I went to the supermarket to buy them. I just asked the suppliers to deliver the others. I realized that my list was useless. My dad is the professional in stockpiling. Our family runs a homestay near the New Year's Day. Almost every household are stocking up. Our stock is not so obvious. After our 2 days of hard work, my warehouse is directly filled. There's also a wall of mineral water and 50 gin bags of flour, 10 bags of Tenjin rice in vacuum packaging, 50 bags in the corner, except for our 2 freezers, are all filled with goods. During this period, Grandma Wall knew I was back. She brought me wild vegetables she picked from the mountains. Grandma and Grandpa Wong are my old neighbors. They are very kind old people, thinking that the elderly don't know how to stock up. My dad and I bought more and moved them to their house. If nothing unexpected happens, for them to eat for a year or 2. My mom looked at the lively streets outside. She couldn't help but feel worried. Look at the lively street outside. It doesn't look like something major is going to happen. Could it be that we are overthinking? Looking at the scene outside, we were all silent. But on the night before New Year's Day, the crisis broke out. First, that morning, I was in the WeChat university group. I saw a video of a zombie biting someone. Someone below debunked it, saying it was fake. It seemed to be a behind-the-scenes video. The classmate insisted it was true, saying it happened downstairs of his house, and he saw it with his own eyes. Later, SWAT came. Then I suddenly remembered his home seemed to be in the coastal areas of City B. Thinking of my brother's words, I was a little panicked. Could it be the end of the world? I immediately took out my phone and tried to call him. Sure enough, I couldn't get through. He can't be reached during his mission. I searched for zombie bites on the internet. I saw more than one video. The true and false ones are mixed together, and it's hard to tell. I quickly typed in the group that the epidemic is serious, and all kinds of diseases are emerging. Everyone should stock up on supplies as much as possible. I don't know if anyone took it seriously. I didn't have time to see what they said. If a zombie outbreak really occurs, stockings up on supplies alone won't be enough. We also need to ensure our house is unbreakable and unbreakable. First, replace the old and somewhat damaged doors. Then we need to weld anti-theft windows to all windows. And the glass should be replaced. Replace it with bulletproof glass and apply a one-sided anti-peep film. We also need weapons. If zombies are rampant, we must have something to defend ourselves. We have solar panels at home for electricity, but they are only for emergencies. There aren't enough. I don't know if they are still working. I need to ask my dad to check it first. When he was checking, and told him my guess, he was obviously confused after hearing it, because he had never read or watched such novels or TV shows. The only thing he has been exposed to is probably Plants vs. Zombies. So he asked me if I wanted to buy some packs of pea shooters. This reminded me, I also need to buy some seeds, fertilizers, and nutrient soil. It's written in doomsday novels. When zombie outbreaks, either go out to fight or stock up on seeds and farms on New Year's Eve. Everyone in the village was actively welcoming guests and making money. Only my family was making ding-ding-dong noises. It was almost 11 o'clock when the renovation was done. The outside was brightly lit, and it was very lively. My mom prepared a table of delicious food, generously declared that, since it's a rare holiday, we should also have a holiday. Even if something happens, it's not a loss. Just then, a scream came from outside the window, which broke the moment of peace. I pulled open the heavy blackout curtain. I saw the once lively and peaceful outside window. Now it's screaming and running. Chaos has already appeared on the street. The end of the world has really come. The tall man was pushed and fell to the ground. The skinny female zombie immediately pounced on him. The zombie is so strong. My dad stepped forward nervously. He raised his hand and slapped the glass. Don't look. I quickly pulled the curtains and ran downstairs. Xiao. My dad grabbed me. With a stern face, an adult man couldn't push it open. A woman who was obviously smaller than him. But what can you do? In troubled times, we can only protect ourselves. And can't help anyone. I knew he misunderstood my meaning. Don't worry, Dad. I know, I just went down to check the gate. I just stood at the door. A series of knocking sounds came from the door. Help, open the door. Open the door. My dad and I were frozen in place. The surveillance TV hanging on the wall showed. A long-haired woman fell in front of my house. A zombie was biting her calf. She kept kicking and crying. My dad pulled me behind him. He rushed up in one step and locked the door. I watched the woman on the monitor fall to the ground and gradually stopped moving. Suddenly, the stiff body stood up and suddenly pounced on the fleeing crowd. She mutated. It was really a zombie. I trembled and opened the monitor with my phone. I saw a car driving in at night, which was the cause of the whole incident. The car drove recklessly and hit the stone tablet not far from my house. It was just within the monitoring range. The people in the car crawled out covered in blood. A kind person went to help him, but was bitten. A chaos began to break out rapidly among the crowd. Watching such a thrilling scene, I couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat. Without thinking, I checked all the doors and windows again and installed a door stopper. After confirming that it was completely safe, I opened the mobile phone hot search again. I originally wanted to search for relevant news, but when I opened it, the internet exploded. It was all about suspected zombie viruses. Many people posted messages for help online, but more people knew that it was useless. That night, my dad was afraid of any accidents, so he didn't sleep on duty, and I wasn't sleepy either. I lay in bed and scrolled through the news and saw the situation everywhere and learned about survival knowledge. I watched one video after another, and the increasing number of zombies. I could only feel a deep sense of powerlessness. When I woke up, the noise outside kept coming. I opened the curtains and peeked out. I gasped in shock. Now, under the sun's irradiation, the outside world is really a doomsday scene. There were zombies wandering on the streets. In the evening, I secretly sent a drone out. I found that almost 2/3 of our mountain village was lost. I could clearly see people moving around. I counted that there were only 6 households left, or the doors were open, with zombies coming in and out, or doors were closed, but there were zombies inside. The next day, in the news broadcast, officially announced the news of the new virus, calling on the public to stock up on supplies, stay at home and don't go out. The expert group was studying to crack it, and the armed police were taking action. They also announced the rescue numbers in each area, but everyone could see that the situation was not optimistic. Because in just one day, almost all websites were paralyzed. There were quarrels from the building next to us. When I flew the drones to patrol, I happened to see a boy upstairs opposite, throwing his backpack out of the window with a loud thud on the ground, and several zombies were attracted. And I also noticed a sign hanging on the wall. Accommodation costs $10,000 a day and $5,000 for meals. Now he's taking advantage of the chaos. It's really something he could do. I frowned, looked at everything in the room. Fortunately, I made safety preparations in advance. Another 3 days passed. It rained heavily that day. The zombies outside were obviously much slower. I don't know if it's because they found this out, or they can't afford, or they couldn't afford the 10,000 yuan daily rent. Someone came out of the opposite building. They seemed to have planned it. They didn't hesitate for a second after coming out. He lowered his head and took out a knife from the bag. I realized that it was the boy who threw the backpack yesterday. They picked up the backpack and walked towards the nearby house. They seemed to be looking for a new base. The heavy rain that night turned into freezing snow. The weather was extremely cold, and the power went out, although there was stored electricity in the solar panel. But I didn't dare to use it recklessly. I didn't dare to turn on the electric blanket. I only boiled 2 pots of water. Filled 3 hot water bags, 1 for each. The day passed like this. After dawn, the snow stopped. The outside was covered in white. Probably because of the cold weather or slippery ground. The zombies moved more slowly. At this time, they saw other survivors on the road. They wanted to go out to find supplies. But not long after, they were discovered and knocked to the ground by zombies. The screams and blood attracted the surrounding zombies to go there. And taking this opportunity, next to the quarrels and fights that broke out from time to time, there was finally a new development. The store manager and his accomplices, holding a young couple, stood by the window on the 2nd floor, pointing to my house. Although I couldn't hear what they were saying, but the intention was obvious. This idiot really has his eyes on our house. My dad was so angry that he gritted his teeth. I guess they've almost used up their supplies. No matter what happens later, ignore and don't care. I'm afraid the zombies are slowing now. If those 2 are really released for help, they will risk opening the door and letting them in. Don't worry, my mom and I have learned a lot about this in the past 2 days. We 1T act recklessly. Yeah, I was almost pissed off by those TV shows. Just then, there was a loud banging on the door downstairs. Could they come so soon? When I took out my phone and turned on the monitor, it was the boy who was banging on my door hard. And he was holding an axe. My dad cursed. Opened the curtain to see the situation opposite. It's really hateful. They left the girl standing by the window and let the boy smash our door. Is anyone there? Open the door. Please open the door and save me. If I don't bring food back, they will kill Xiaoqi. I frowned. Such a loud noise will only attract all the zombies. Who dares to open the door? He was scared and looked around while knocking. It should be that the zombies have been attracted. Seeing that we didn't respond, he started to chop with an axe. But our door couldn't be cut through by a few axes. Damn it. Because he attracted many zombies. My dad stood at the window, stunned. He pulled the curtains and took several steps back. My mom was anxious and stomped her feet at the monitor. Seeing that the zombies were approaching, the door of the old house opposite suddenly opened. Young man, come in quickly. Grandpa Zhang reached out and beckoned the boy to his house. I saw the boy rush into the house and closed the door, and the zombies also swarmed over. I am so angry. I have prepared water and food for them. Enough for them to eat for at least a year. They just have to be kind. My dad was anxious and pacing around. We have done our best. We've left them enough things. My mom also comforted herself. Dad, take out the stereo in your room. Then I found a piece of thawed meat and tied it to the drone with the stereo. I played music loudly and controlled it to fly over the zombie group. The sound and blood, which instantly made them abandon the old house and chase the drone. After this incident, protecting Grandpa and Grandma Zhang from danger, and gave all those who had designs on my home a warning. They should be quiet for a while. After this incident, I went to bed early. When I woke up the next day, I learned that from my dad. Last night, the boy wanted to go back and opened the door again, but the zombies took the opportunity to attack. But he couldn't escape in the end. For now, we can only live our own lives. At 4 a.m. the next day, when I was deeply asleep, I was playing Plants vs. Zombies by the window, wrapped in quilts. I looked up inadvertently. I saw the door opposite open. I immediately woke up. I sat up straight. I looked out through the moonlight. A slender figure appeared behind the door. Was that Xiaoqi? Was he also kicked out? Seeing more and more zombies gathering and pounced on him, he immediately turned around and ran back. Soon, I heard the sounds of roars coming from inside. Since then, the whole village became quiet. Only people who occasionally came out to find supplies. Some were lucky enough to return with full loads, while others became food for zombies. A month later, according to my observation, there were about 5 households living in the village, including my home and the 2 boys who ran out from the opposite house. We've been at peace, and we never exchanged words until one day, a drone suddenly appeared by the window and found a note inside saying, "Uncle and Aunt, Happy New Year." We really want to eat dumplings. Do you have any? We can trade you with bacon. It dawned on me that it was already the new year. I looked up and saw. I saw them standing by the window, waving their hands, holding a piece of bacon in their hands. I don't lack bacon at home. I don't mind giving them some dumplings on this day, to give them some dumplings. Later, the bacon was delivered. I sent them twice more. I guess they really had nothing to eat. They found somewhere. A gold necklace and a pair of gold bracelets were hung on it. The uncle, aunt, and young lady had nothing to give. So they could only hang up some useless things. Thank you. We can have a full meal. We will have motivation to run out tomorrow. We relied on the drones to send messages. Unfortunately, no news came after that. 2 boys were the first to leave the mountain village, facing the rising sun towards the hope of the new world. On the 12th day after they left, just after lunch, I heard vague shouts outside. It sounded like they were calling my dad. Changfeng, if you have any antibacterial medicine, can you give me some? Please, my son is dying. I have some supplies to trade with you. It's Liu Dalin. I'm not familiar with this name, but I knew his son. He is a sweet and lovely little boy. He looks like 4 or 5 years old. Every time he sees me, he calls me sister. Then within our ability, we tied a box of antibacterial drugs and a few eggs and sent them together. There are some chickens on the top floor, which lay eggs every day. There are many drones stored. When we came back, there was a pack of seaweed and half a salted fish. And a note. My family's food can last for a few months. But no medicine. Yesterday, I searched several houses nearby, but found nothing. So I have to ask for your help. Thank you very much for your help. Later, another family said they had no food left and wanted us to sponsor some, but I ignored it. The village returned to its usual quiet on the 127th day of the zombie outbreak. The vegetables my mom planted began to sprout on the 186th day after the outbreak. The first time a car drove into our village. When we came to the window, we saw several men in camouflage uniforms, sticking their heads out of the SUV. They were fully armed. Any survivors? We are from the military. To take you to the shelter. Looking at the rescue troops downstairs, we couldn't help but feel excited. Have we finally waited for the rescue? Seeing that the rescue team had arrived downstairs. Just as we were about to go downstairs, we were stopped. Wait, let's not move. Let's see what they want to do. Let's be careful. If there are survivors, please speak up quickly. We have limited supplies. We'll go to the next stop later, after their repeated calls. Finally, someone spoke up. I need rescue here. Finally, I wait for you. It's Liu Dalin's voice. Based on the time, their supplies have indeed been emptied. I'm sorry, fellow. We ray too late. I'm sorry for making you suffer. Are there any other people at home? Maybe their voices were too loud, which attracted the attention of zombies. The man behind raised his weapon and knocked him down. The zombies behind him. It seems that there is only me left. Liu Dalin doesn't fully trust them. Comrade, what's the situation outside? Where is our base? When can we leave? Don't worry, let's stay here for a day or 2. And bring back the other survivors. You go and pack your things, and bring all the valuable things, especially gold and other valuable things. Are these still useful now? When the zombies are eliminated and order is restored, don't we still need to use them? They all got on the bus and drove away. They kept emphasizing valuable things. They definitely didn't come to save us. They're probably bandits taking advantage of the apocalypse. Now the world is like this. What's the use of money? You can buy food and drinks. What if these people searched every house? Because there are always people in the house, and the traces of our lives cannot be erased. So we have nowhere to hide. We can only continue to pretend there is no one home. I hope the bulletproof door we installed can hold up. Since the zombie outbreak, we've been so nervous for the first time. Until 2 hours later, there were gunshots outside again. I have given you all the valuable things. Please let me go. Except me. There are no other survivors in our village. There are no other survivors. Outside the window, Liu Dalin's arms were tied behind his back. When they were about to search here, one of them looked up and looked around, suddenly pointed at my house and asked if anyone lived here. Why is the door locked? My heart suddenly went up to my throat. No one lives here. I heard Liu Dalin say. But one of them obviously didn't believe it. He came over with a gun. aimed at the door of my house. A loud noise came. Even the house was shaking. The monitor showed that the door was still intact. It made us all breathe a sigh of relief. The door inside is of such good quality. The man even became interested. He laid on the crack of the door and looked inside, perhaps because my house was not grand enough. And it didn't look very rich. The leader of them stopped the man from continuing to damage my door, and unexpectedly raised his hand and cut Liu Dalin's arm. Run up the mountain. Lead all these zombies away. Your mission is completed. The man held a gun to his body and commanded. I saw zombies in the distance attracted by the smell of blood, approaching this way much faster. Without further delay, he started running up the mountain. After a long time, there was no sound outside. I'm not sure if they really left. And I didn't dare to send the drone out to check. Fortunately, he didn't expose us. Because of Brother Liu, we were spared their persecution, so we decided to take care of his family more. After all, our own vegetables are almost ready to eat. We can gradually be self-sufficient. The next day, the car noise came again. They really left. I was sure they were gone. The sound. I dared to send the drone to see the situation outside. Seeing that they were really gone, we were really relieved. It's the 219th days of the zombie outbreak. The weather was extremely hot. It hasn't rained for over a month. We have little drinking water left. But there is good news that the zombies in the village were almost exhausted, and the slow-moving ones are almost no threat. The next day, after using the drone to cautiously explore the situation, my dad and I went out for the first time, covering each other. We picked packs of wild fruits and mushrooms. We killed a chicken, which greatly improved our diet. A few days later, when I woke up, I habitually checked the phone signal first. I was about to go out when I found it still hadn't recovered. I heard a faint sound of a car. A moment later, I heard a child crying outside. I leaned to the window to check. It was Xiao Chen who ran out. He fell to the ground and cried loudly. A zombie was just a few steps away from him, approaching him little by little. Not to mention the car sounds outside, even if there was no danger. With the distance between the zombie and him, it was too late for us to open the door and rush to him. I heard a gunshot. When I looked out again, the zombie had been knocked down to the ground. I saw a car approaching in front of me. A person got off. Is that your brother? My mom immediately burst into tears, and behind him was Brother Liu. After he ran up the mountain, he fell down the mountain to avoid zombies and was seriously hurt and was rescued by the rescue team. Fortunately, my brother came down from the sky and saved Zicken, and he also carried medicine with him. Don't worry. The vaccine has been developed. We are gradually eliminating the remaining zombies. On the 324th day after the outbreak, the last zombie was eliminated in City B. On the 397th day, we welcomed the first new year after the zombie outbreak. My home and the homestay also welcomed the first guests after the disaster.